In the vast landscape of ancient Indian wisdom, where sound becomes mantra and breath becomes the bridge between the body and soul, there exists a quiet yet powerful presence known as Pingala. To some, Pingala is the sun channel, one of the primary energy pathways in the human body. To others, Pingala is an ancient sage, a scholar of rhythm and divine order. And to the deeper traditions of Tantra and Yoga, Pingala is both, a force of energy and consciousness, a mystic whose teachings are hidden in the very breath we take. Let us begin at the subtle level, the human body as understood by the yogis. Yogic science teaches that within the spine lie three main nadis, or channels of pranic energy, Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. Ida flows along the left side. It is associated with the moon, cooling, calming, intuitive. It governs the parasympathetic nervous system and aligns with the qualities of stillness, reflection, and inner vision. Pingala, by contrast, flows on the right side. It is linked to the sun, warming, stimulating, active. It fuels our logic, movement, metabolism, and our ability to act in the world. It corresponds with the sympathetic nervous system, our fight-or-flight energy, but also our creative fire. Between them lies Sushumna, the central channel, dormant until Ida and Pingala are balanced. When both are in harmony, energy rises through Sushumna, and the yogi enters states of deep meditation and ultimately, spiritual liberation. But here is where the story gets deeper. Pingala is not only an energy pathway. She is also remembered as a sage, a seer, possibly female, possibly transcending gender, whose mind touched the vastness of cosmic rhythm and mathematics. She is credited with one of the earliest known texts on Sanskrit prosody, the science of poetic meters and sound patterns, known as the Chandah Sastra. This work, attributed to Pingala Rishi, explores the mathematics behind Vedic chants, laying down patterns that later inspired the development of the binary number system, a concept that re-emerged centuries later in the work of modern mathematicians. Some scholars believe this Pingala lived around 2nd century BCE, though legends speak of her as a timeless being, one who could see the meter in the breath, the pattern in sound, and the silence between vibrations. In her Chandah Sastra, she used light and sound to explain spiritual principles, because for the ancient seers, there was no separation between mathematics and mysticism, between rhythm and revelation. The work of Pingala introduces the binary representation of poetic meters, using short and long syllables, known as Laghu and Guru, which resemble modern-day ones and zeros. This makes Pingala not only a spiritual figure, but also one of the first contributors to Indian mathematics, merging the world of poetry, breath, and cosmic order. So who is Pingala? Really? A yogic channel? A tantric symbol? A poetic mathematician? She is all of these. In Tantra, Pingala Nadi represents the masculine energy within all beings, not in terms of gender, but as the principle of will, direction, clarity, and transformation. She is the inner fire that helps the yogi rise, the force that activates the breath, the clarity that cuts through illusion. When the yogi practices pranayam, controlled breathing, they work to harmonize Ida and Pingala, breath by breath, until their energies no longer compete, but dance. When this balance is achieved, energy flows into Sushumna, and the Kundalini begins to rise. This rising of energy is not merely physical. It is spiritual awakening, the realization that the body is a temple, the breath a prayer, and every heartbeat a step closer to the infinite. Pingala is also symbolized by the sun, and so many yogic practices, especially those performed at dawn, are designed to activate the Pingala Nadi. When you chant, when you move, when you create with full awareness, you are invoking the power of Pingala. And yet, the ancients warn, too much Pingala can lead to imbalance. It can cause restlessness, pride, ego, and burnout. That is why Ida, the lunar energy, is equally needed to cool the fire, to restore stillness, to soften the action. Thus, Pingala teaches us a deeper truth. That power without wisdom is incomplete. That movement must meet stillness, and logic must bow to intuition. And that liberation does not lie in extremes. It lies in balance, in the sacred midpoint where breath becomes awareness, and awareness becomes bliss. Whether we understand Pingala as an inner current, a legendary sage, or a tantric force, her presence is undeniable. She lives in our breath. She shines in our discipline. She sings in the silent rhythm of the universe. And she reminds us, always, that the journey to the divine does not lie only in temples or scriptures, but in the subtle breath, the hidden patterns, and the awakening of the self within. Pingala, the sun of inner awareness, the yogini of sacred rhythm, the unseen guide in the path of balance, power, and light. She is not only a part of the story of yoga. She is a spark in every soul who dares to breathe deeper and seek truth beyond the surface.